Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban knife style and jungle survival. Today we're going to have a look at a handmade Golok Perak. Now this is going to be a short video and will be nothing like my previous reviews on Malaysian parangs, simply because I do not have much information on this parang. But what I really wanted to show is that there's a big disparity between handmade parangs in Malaysia. This particular parang is a Golok. It comes from an unknown maker in Perak, a state in northwestern peninsula Malaysia. I bought it through an online store on a marketplace, and they have no information on the maker beyond it being made by a Bumiputra, which is an indigenous person. The distinctive features of the Golok is the pointed tip, almost like a drop point, as well as the curved blade. Traditionally, there is a recurve on the blade as well, and there's a slight one here. There's also a slight curve on the spine, although this one is straight, as it is from Perak. So this is actually called the Golok Perak. Golok Peraks tend to be slightly thinner and have a less pronounced curve on the spine and the blade. If you want to learn about all the different types of parang styles, do check out my video on the introduction to modern Malaysian parangs in the link in the card above or the description below. Let's first talk about this blade. The blade is 8 inches long with a pointed tip. The blade steel is unknown, but I think it's safe to guess it's recycled carbon steel, probably from leaf spring or an automotive part. Based on the markings on the blade, it does not look like the blade is hand forged or hammered. The blade is hand cut, and the striations suggest that the grind is some kind of hand tool that created it. So could be a power tool, but handheld as opposed to a fixed belt sander. I don't have any information on the heat treatment of the blade, so I do not know if there's differential hardening. That means I don't know whether different parts of the blade have a different hardness. For example, you want the spine to be harder than the blade and the handle, because you want it less hard here but tougher so it does not chip or break. The grind is more like a full flat grind or a very slight Scandi grind. It is not the right grind for a parang. The blade was not very sharp out of the box, but I did do a bit of work with a stone and strop to get it razor sharp. The width of this blade is only 1.4 inches at its widest point, so it's a very small knife, so it doesn't even seem like a parang. The base blade thickness is 4 mm thick, but it tapers down to less than 1 mm towards the front. So the way that this blade was made and its size suggests it is made more like a kitchen knife than a parang, but it was sold as a parang, or the person who made it makes regular knives and was tasked to make a parang and did it the same way. There's really no way of knowing. There is no unsharpened section at the base, but there is a recurve, so you could technically choke up on the blade if you wanted to do finer work. But the problem is, you can see this isn't really well cut or well done. So if you were to really choke up and add pressure, you're going to hurt your finger. The blade construction is definitely stick tang or rat tail tang. That means the end of the blade tapers down into a narrow tail and extends about, I would say 2.5 inches in this case, into the handle. There is a steel collar. I put a magnet to it so I know it's steel, but the resin or the epoxy work is very rough. I'm not sure if you can see that. And you can see the joining here, that's really bad as well. I discussed the parang stick tang construction in a previous video that you can watch in the link in the card above or the description below. The handle, or hulu in Malay, is made of some kind of hardwood. Can't tell what sort of wood it is. It has the traditional parang shaped handle, but it's quite small, it's quite thin. Not much of a swell, but it's also very roughly made. It does seem to have a very light coat of varnish, but it's not evenly coated, so I guess the side benefit of that is at least there's a bit of grip. It's not smooth and won't likely slip out of your hand. The handle is 5 inches long, and the overall length of this parang is 13 inches long. The parang did not come with a sheath, but you can buy a PU sheath or imitation leather sheath from the seller. So this is the sheath that I got along with it, or I rather added it to the order. This is a mass-produced sheath, so the parang maker did not make it or provide it. In terms of quality, the sheath matches the parang. It is actually fairly well made in terms of the stitching and the look, but the materials are just not very high quality. You can see this is just really regular and Velcro and not even the best quality Velcro there. As I'm sure you can see, the build quality of the parang is really low. I suspect it is supposed to be a kitchen knife or a fruit knife, but it was sold as a parang. I mean, it looks like a regular golok, just with a 8-inch blade, a very narrow blade, and a wrong blade grind. This cannot be compared with well-known brands like My Parang and Parang Tantari, or even Parang Lipis. Those are in a different league when compared to this. But this is a really cheap parang. The known brands average about 220 ringgit per parang, which is about US $58. This parang costs 38 ringgit, which is about US $9. So there is a vast difference in price and therefore quality. The lesson here is, if you are looking for a Malaysian parang, especially one for hiking, camping or bushcraft, do not buy the extremely cheap ones. Buy one from a well-known brand and you can be sure you have a safe and well-made tool. I hope you enjoyed this parang review. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more parang reviews and videos on tropical jungle survival, do subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.